But I want them to know that we don't like them and we will never like them.
Anytime you bounce up a racist and you hear them running their mouth, it's go bar and hospice. Only thing does come out. Instead of using your platform to make the country better, you're using race as a weapon, just like a black Hitler. Tell the racist sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care about the texture of who here. We all have to live in this place. Sufferers don't care about vote. Sufferers don't care about this clown. Sufferers only want to hear when this SOA going and done. Hey!
Whenever they say PNM people on social media, the me is the new N-word. They hate African people, they hate black people, they hate people from Bison, they hate people from Silas, they hate people from Maloney, they hate people from Lakota, they hate people from the trail line, they hate people from Arima, they hate people from Kareem, they hate me.
Prime Minister Kamla Pasabi-Sessa fired a sharp jab at Kareem Marcelle, suggesting his brain is not working. I don't think it's fair or kind of me to argue with someone who is suffering from a non-functional brain, she said. Marcelle called the Prime Minister unfit and accused the government of hating Afro-Trinidadians. Kamla pointed at Afro-Trinidadians on her cabinet as proof. She also accused the PNM of race grifting for decades.
Good day, my people. I am Marvin Frederick. For years, political parties have relied on the race card and followed closely by blame game. Nothing continues. Everything continues and nothing changes. As we look recently, we saw a young minister use language that may not have been explicitly centered on ethnicity. However, the phrase such as, "they don't like us, we don't like them," was enough to fuel racial tension, deepening division within our society. This behavior is unacceptable. I'm not here to lecture anyone about what has happened in the past, but I'm here to explain why politicians should avoid these tactics altogether. Leadership should unite people, not divide them. Trinidad and Tobago strongest when people stand together. We cannot continue to allow fear, division, and identity politics to shape our nation's conversations. The future of Trinidad and Tobago depends on the leaders who rise above those tactics, focus on solutions that benefits all citizens, regardless of race, religion, and background. Racism cannot survive Trinidad and Tobago because of the country's rich history of cultural diversity, resilience, and unity. The nation is built on a foundation of multiple ethnicities: Indo-Trinidadians, Afro-Trinidadians, Chinese, Syrians, and others who have coexisted and contributed to a vibrant, multicultural society. Our collective consciousness emphasizes on harmony, respect, and shared identity, making racial division difficult to sustain. However, it is fundamentally wrong for any political party or politician to promote racism. When this is done, it undermines the principle of equality, justice, and human dignity that are essential for a fair and cohesive society. Promoting racism fosters division, hatred, and discrimination which can lead to social unrest, violence, and the marginalization of entire communities. Politicians who hold positions of influence and responsibility should serve to unify and uplift all citizens regardless of their race or background. By promoting racism, they betray the trust placed in them by the people and threaten the stability and progress of our nation. Upholding morals and value is crucial for building a just, peaceful, and prosperous society for everyone. Remember, everyone, Trinidad and Tobago commitment to culturalism and its history is to overcome division and ensure that racism cannot thrive here. My question is, if your race has faced historical oppression and discrimination, how can you embrace unity and understand helping break the cycle and build
eating black people and traditional PNM communities. Then he compared the term PNM people to a new racial slur. To me, it's the new N-word, he said. I am not a fan of this Kareem Marcelle fellow. For a new age politician, he's very scandalous. And you could tell as he tries to appeal to Afro-Trinidadian base using aggressive racial and partisan rhetoric. And while his words will energize party loyalists, ultimately, it deepens ethnic polarization. Because outrage politics should not be the tone of Trinidad and Tobago's next generation of politicians.
Good day to Trinidad and Tobago. Now, allow me to address what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago at this present time. I would start with the embittered speech of Kareem Marcelle, a parliamentarian. Now, we cannot bury our heads in the sand like an ostrich and pretend as though it is not happening, because it is, right? However, we have to understand the root of these issues. But before I go there, my words to young Marcelle. Young Marcelle, you said they don't like we, and we don't like them. Allow me to start from there. Young Marcelle, don't accept, there's a saying that, and there's science behind it, that energy cannot be destroyed, but transferred and transformed. So do not allow that energy to be transferred to you and for you to transfer it to those that follow you. I want you to transform it, young Marcelle. And this is where the elevated mind begins, with transformation. Because you see, negative for negative, there's no strength. Do you know the power when the Bible says, the good book, I have to refer to that, when it says to love your enemies. So when you said, they don't like us, but you know what I will say? We love them. Because love is the strength that will conquer. Don't play them on their playing field because they know that field. Challenge them to come at an elevated level. Love, Marcelle, is strength. When we can love our enemies, it's strength. It doesn't mean that you don't give them a good tongue lashing when they deserve it. No. but we do not continue with the same energy that they send to us. So allow me now as the leader to say, you don't like us, but we love you. Because there's strength. There's strength in love. Love is not a weakness. Love is a strength. But our issues are much deeper. It's sad but true that even politicians have used the continuous construct of our ethnic and racial division for their advantage. How so? While no party is completely Indian or African, it will be intellectually deceitful of us not to pronounce it as it is. We continue to see PNM as an Afro party and UNC as an Indo party. Now, as a country, Trinidad and Tobago, we have to also understand our history. And when we understand our history and the lessons in history, then we can begin to heal from hurt. Let's discuss the lessons that we must learn. Now, many sociologists may describe Trinidad as either heterogeneous or plural, a plural society. We cannot say we are a homogeneous society. Relax, Barry. Right? We cannot say we are a homogeneous society. But we are more of a plural society. You see, people mixed up coexisting as cohesion. Because under the fabric of the pretense, we are still divided. And now the racial card and the ethnic card is getting us nowhere. Because I want to hear conversations about development and diversification and technological advancement that can match first world status. That's what I want to hear. But I cannot ignore the noise that I am hearing. We have to understand, let's go to traditional India. The Indians were always a divided people, even within themselves. India was divided with about 5 castes. The Brahmins being the highest caste. And some describe it not only as classism, but pronounced colorism. And then you had the Dalits, lowest caste. The untouchables, lowest caste. But how did it make you feel? As an Indian, probably of dark skin complexion, why do we continue to hurt each other? We have to learn how to share our space with a level of integration and unity. We cannot allow the political rhetoric of race to divide us, because we will not advance. Now, I want to also address the AG and his statement when he spoke about the 1%. That he's going after the 1% and Guardian Media. And Kamla tried to do some PR to cover it, to say that he was speaking about the 1% could mean anybody. We understand who the 1% are, Madam Prime Minister. Your ministers and senators, they are very clear. They are very clear when people like Philip Alexander speaks. We understand. When the AG spoke, we understood. But if this is so, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of the political gimmickry. I'm tired of grifters pretending to be gifters. I'm tired of that. Far too long we heard about who have to make a jail, and nobody's making a jail. The Syrians and Lebanese came here as peddlers of cloth and textile. And now, the 1% is so powerful. It's so powerful that they have politicians in their pocket. The same 1% that the AG is speaking about at Guardian Media. Recently we saw pictures with Kamla Prasad Bissessa and Norman Sapga. And some looked at it with disdain because it was public knowledge that they were the financiers of the People's National Movement. They are not politicians. They are businessmen seeking their own competitive advantage. If you all have the political will and the information, lock them up. But if you choose to do that, I want you to look inside as well, Mr. AG. Look inside and tell me about the allegations with Munilal, David Lee, Anil Roberts, Mutilal and Sons. Look inside. And the list can go on, trust me. Look inside. So Trinidad and Tobago. You see the acrimony and the animosity? It gets us nowhere.
Yes, Odi, good morning, good morning. So I said I'm popping here fast, Odi. I was supposed to make this video since yesterday, but I was too tired to deal with Mr. Kareem, so let me get into it one time. We ain't afraid to say it. Whenever they say the PNM people on social media, that mean is the new N-word. They hate African people. They hate black people. They hate people from the Beatum. They hate people from Silas. They hate people from Maloney. They never like we. But I want them to know that we don't like them. And we would never like them. Now that is just a little snippet. You know, and it's quite amazing, that Mr. Kareem Marcelle, right? I now see why you didn't get all the academic qualifications in order to study law, right? And that the only reason why you was able to study law was because you got a Matangal Daga scholarship. But I wonder if it is you really understand who was Makandal Daga and what he would have stand for. If it is you had done a little history. Well, let me see if it is I can educate you a little bit on who was Makandal Daga. The 1970 Black Power Revolution in Trinidad and Tobago was led by NJAC, which is the National Joint Action Committee, headed by Makandal Daga and Kafa Kambon. The movement sought to challenge the structural racism and economic inequality, advocating for people power, right, and greater racial equality between Afro-Trinidadians and Indo-Trinidadians in this country. The PNM government, Dr. Eric Williams, was the government in charge at that time, right? Dr. Williams was the primary target of mass demonstration. Activists and labor unions protested against economic inequality, structural racism, foreign economic dominance, even though the country was already governed by a black-led administration. The response of the PNM government at the time, they declared a state of emergency in April of 1970. So in a gist, the citizens were the black citizens of this country was politically marginalized and economically discriminated despite a black party being in power, which was the PNM-led administration. So Kareem, Marcelle, I read that to say, when you talk about that they don't like us, I think that you need to direct that to the PNM. Because for years now, since 1970, it is very, very clear that the PNM never liked their own black people. There was a black power revolution against a black party in charge, which was the PNM. Black people could not have worked in banks. Black people could not have gotten a lot of the jobs now that we are able now to occupy because of that black power revolution. Right? And if it is you had some kind of education in your head and sense, you will know and understand that a lot of the systemic racism, right, that black people was meted out during those years was a direct result of the PNM management. Up to this day, Kareem, Marcelle, the people in your community, those areas that you talk about, Beatam, Laventille, John, Never Dirty, and all these places, they continue to be stagnated. They continue to be at the bottom of the social ladder. They continue to have the most teenage pregnancies. They continue to do the worst when you see it comes to academic performance, right? They basically continue to be at the very bottom of the social ladder. And what you think that is? When they have always supported the People National Movement. Those are the seats that the PNM, as the people say, if it is you put a crapo with a balize tie, they will vote for it. They have never gone against the PNM. They have never gone against it, right? So when you want to talk and say that they don't like we, and trying to stir up racial bias, and when they say PNM people is the new N-word. So Kareem, so what about the Indo-Trinidadians in your party that support the PNM? How you really expect them to feel? So from since 1970 to now, the PNM have not grown. They have not developed. It's the same mindset and way of thinking. The divisive culture, we against them, that them don't like we and we don't like them. So how you think that the Indo-Trinidadians in your party is supposed to feel? Plenty Indo-Trinidadians that actually support, right, and help finance that party. How you feel that they're supposed to feel with that kind of rhetoric? Every single day it have couples in this country who are mixed race, right? Afro and Indo. My daughter is a mixed race, right? We in this country, we are too small of a country, right? For in 2026, people like you, Mr. Kareem, going on a platform and inciting racism and fanning the flames of racism. Like if you feel that somehow that is going to score the PNM party some type of political points, or you're looking dotish. And Penelope Beckles, you are continuing to be a weak leader because it is very clear you cannot control or rein in your ministers. You are allowing them to basically run free and do what they want. Because when questioned, you saying what that you didn't really hear the speech, like really? And you literally sitting down in front there, cheering him on. So you won't think how that is going to negatively affect the outlook of the party. If it is all you want to try to bounce back, who voter base all you're coming to get? Eh? If that is the case, then that will be just the same amount of people that you will be getting. Them safe seat, Mover, John, Laventille, right? Those will continue to be the ground mat. You understand? The ground mat that the PNM continue to use, walk all over for their vote, and then when you see after election, do absolutely nothing for them. Because the PNM party have been the party that have been in charge of this country for the most amount of years, more than any other party. So don't give me that crap, Kareem, about, oh, they don't like we. For the amount of years that the PNM was in power, and for the amount of years that those places like Beetham, Laventille, and John have supported the PNM, they ought to have better infrastructure. They ought to have better schools. Kareem, look at that Mova school down there for 9.5 years. Or you didn't even say, well, let all you complete it. So all you didn't care about the education of all your children. Just what, 2 months before election, or you try to mama guy or yourself and say that or you start back work to try to pretend as if all you was doing something like really a school for the people in all your neighbor area there to go to school. What about the pool up over there that was turning green during the PNM time, and they never see about it? A pool they can maintain for the people of the community, and then the lady want to come on the media and lie and pretend like if it's this government fault when it's months now, you understand, or almost a year that pool was down. The PNM is the problem for the own black people in that area. So when you want to come to try to feed that narrative that they don't like we and we don't like them, it's the PNM don't like their own people, their own black people who have always supported them. They treat them like the scum of the earth, yet they always support them. Earlier, I real vex, but
Right on to the next step is Kareem, Marcelle, and these comments that he had to make. He just feel like if he had to make, he was going so good. He was going so good. Let me go. So for those of you all who are not up to date, Kareem Marcelle was on a platform. I don't even know where he was, where they were meeting, what they was meeting for. I don't know. But he went viral for saying that them don't like we and we don't like them. Right? That is the part that he went viral for saying, but I want to go over what he was saying in general. Number one, he was taunting the Prime Minister. Did I say grab a snack? Grab a snack. He was taunting the Prime Minister and saying if she call her election now, she'll be out. If she big and she bad, call her election now. He was going good. That is factual. Yeah, and good politics too. Embarrassing to call an election when you know the people are unhappy. Good politics, we going good. Then he went on to say that on social media, the new thing is using, instead of using the N-word, which is nigger, people saying PNM. So once they call you a PNM, you know they're trying to call you a nigger, which is factual. This is what have been being done for the last however time. This is what has been being done. Then when he went on to tell his constituency, they don't like we. They will never like we. And this is the part for me, that get me irate. And we don't like them. So I want to go over the stupidity of racism in the first place. And I don't think that it was a racist statement because a lot of you all don't know what racism is. But racism is stupid because it's genuinely people disliking you because of the color of your skin and the texture of your hair. They don't dislike you because of your personality. They don't like you because you are a criminal. They don't dislike you because of anything you have done. Racism is seeing somebody and instantly hating them because of the color of their skin and the texture of their hair. That is the dumbest shit I've ever seen on earth, and racism will always be dumb as fuck to me.
So when Kareem Marcelle says they don't like we, and then you go to say you don't like them, you are saying that you are just as dumb as them because you are allowing people to dictate who you like based on their race. Indian people in Trinidad and Tobago are very racist. And it comes from a long line of history where they come from. The caste system in India. I could go into the history. But they are. Well, I want to know something. My biggest following is from East Indian people. My biggest help always come from East Indian people. My most recognition, like when I go out, is the East Indian people always want to take pictures with me. Because of my content and because of my family life, they relate very strongly with me because they have strong family lives. Very, very strong family lives. As a matter of fact, I'm not even ashamed to say that growing up in Trinidad, I emulate my family life from the East Indian culture and the East Indians in Trinidad and Tobago. That is the pattern that I follow, and that is what I do with my family. That being said, am I not aware that they are racist, that they are racist East Indians? Yes, I am very aware. Have I encountered them? Yes, I have. Have I then not liked them for the simple fact that they are Indian? Never did I. That is dumb as fuck. I probably would have disliked them because of how they treat me. I would have disliked them for disrespect that they have bestowed on me. I probably would have disliked. I have disliked in East Indian people, but it has never been because of their race. It has never been because their hair is straight or that their skin tone may be lighter than mine. It has never been because of their background, where they have come from. It has always have a substantial reason to mild dislike. So disliking somebody for you thinking that they don't like you, so you don't like them, is dumb as fuck. Having a political leader, somebody in politics who is an elected member of parliament, who has been elected to represent the people, then cry on to a public stage to influence his constituents. This is what I've been speaking about. A lot of politicians don't stand up against racism because they play on racism as the only information that their constituents have to make a decision on how to vote. So they keep their constituents dumb, and the only data, the only information they have is that the other side who you're voting against is not our race. We sticking together. Party first, country second. We sticking together like glue. Why I'm so upset by this is because this racist conversation have been mostly held in the East Indian parties and on the East Indian side. Kareem Marcelle now, every single time I speak about racism or other content creators speak about racism, the lashback we always get is, it's both sides, it's both sides, it's both sides. And we could always counteract that because there's no evidence of it being both sides. The racism that shows up on the internet every day is largely on a large scale from the East Indian community. Even the other day, a young man, Johan Harry, has been arrested. The video that I did about him, right before that video, as an East Indian girl said, all black people must die. All of us must be shot and die. I did about a video about her and her statements first, and I did a video about him second. They say that she's using a fake account, so they don't know who it is. She is out and free, and Johan Harry is arrested, being beaten. And we, the people of the African community, are silent. And this is the problem constantly. What Kareem Marcelle did now is bring us into that racist conversation. So now they have evidence to say them racist too is both sides. And that is what had me most upset. And this is why Kareem Marcelle going to get the word of correction here today. Sometimes as a young man, you need to shut up. Shut up. Penny needs some licks too because she won't reprimand you. Shut up. Shut up. Nah. All you see in the licks good. Hold on. Yeah. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Sit down and listen to Auntie Keela for me. We, the Afro-Trinidadians, have no beef with the East Indians of Trinidad and Tobago. The dislike, this come one way. And any negativity that goes back the other way is because of the nasty things that we saying. But we love them. We love them. We will correct them, but we love them. You see that? They don't like we, and we don't like them. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. That is not true. We want unity. What we want is to come together to have a better Trinidad and Tobago together forever. Because if I check your genealogy, I sure I will find some Indian blood somewhere. Because I have. Stop it. Don't be young and dumb. Don't get dragged into that low-class ghetto of stupid racialism. Don't get dragged. Don't get dragged in, but we don't like them. Them don't like we, and we don't like them. So because them dumb, we have to be dumb too. Because we playing dumb and dumber in fucking Trinidad. Because they don't like we have to not like them too. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. And if Penny wouldn't tell you, Auntie Keela will tell you. Because Penny dumb as rocks. Penny need to sit down. Yeah? So Auntie Keela will have to tell you. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together. Get it together here. Get it together. But you're not apologizing and you're wrong. You was going good. The speech was going good. You get up in your beaches and you know why? Because that is how they like to talk in all your house. Yeah? And when all you talk so, then all you feel is okay to come out and talk to. And all you never had nobody to put all you straight because the people are wrong all you, just as dumb as all you so wrong all yourself with smarter people. So they will be able to pull all you up so all you will make public statements that show that all you dumb as rocks. Get it? Got it.
Right, good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. When race and reality do not match a particular narrative, people does up for fantasy. Listen to this video.
Kareem, good night, good night. Good night to my followers. Look at the hair on my head. Let's see hair on my head, it's natural. Have a little length. Let's see hair on my head. I am 100% Afro-Trinidadian. And I'm a proud UNC. UNC loves me and I love the UNC. Miss me with a stupid race talk. And I am not alone. There's several people that look like me, that share my ethnicity, that are members proud and true of the UNC. Leave my UNC, my Prime Minister, and my government out of all your race talk. Please and thanks.
Now, what you would have seen there is a clear fantasy. As I would have said, when race and reality don't match, people that's up for fantasy. What Kareem Marcelle have been pointing out is what would have been taking place in the community. The UNC say something and then they come under fire thousands of people on the breadline, people specifically from African descent. Watch the type of talks that they have and watch how they underfund P&M corporations. Is a clear picture. Again, Trinidad and Tobago, don't be fooled by such narratives. These people and them have an agenda, and it's just a handful of these Africans and them. There is another terminology that is called race laundering, and let me tell you what it is, and you will see it. You will start to see it as I tell you what is the meaning. Race laundering is when people from a particular race use other people from other race to say certain things that if they say it may sound racist. And to the young lady that would have made this video, if the UNC so love black people, I want to see them make Julian John the next leader of the UNC. I await. Thanks for watching.
Let me just make it clear. We celebrate 70 years as a party this year. We have always stood for interracial solidarity, and that has always been the mantra of the People's National Movement. I spoke with him before and I knew he was going to, I have not heard exactly what it is he has said, but in particularly as it relates to his constituents. I know there's some very strong feelings as to what has happened during the election as it relates to the UNC and how the people of those areas feel.
I've seen a disturbing trend. And again, I must make a second comment on this. Johan Hari. Now, we can all agree that his statement is disrespectful to other people, because a disrespect is when somebody else get offended on something that you would have said about them. So we can all agree that his statement is disrespectful to other people. But you know, what is more concerning his arrest is that you would have locked him up for a disrespectful statement and not for something that he would have done to break the law. So you're using state apparatus to punish a man for making a disrespectful statement and not for actually breaking the law of Trinidad and Tobago. And there is where Trinidad, we need to draw the line. It's either Johan Hari would have break the law and the government lock him up, or he would have made a disrespectful statement in which may require him to apologize. We had to draw the line here. And if it is the former, meaning he make an unlawful statement, but by all means prosecute him with the full brunt of the law. And if it's the latter, meaning that he make a disrespectful statement and it warrant an apology, you don't need law enforcement to do that. And if in this instance, I'm saying if, but in this instance where they would have used law enforcement to enforce something that is not lawful or not unlawful, we have seen a clear-cut instance where the state would have overreached. In other words, there is a legal terminology for this, and the legal terminology for this is what they call being ultra-vires. The state have been ultra-vires in using the police force to arrest Johan Hari for a statement that was disrespectful and not unlawful. Thanks for watching.
NJAC condemned Kareem Marcelle for speaking up for black people. Let that sink in. NJAC, founded on black power. Now condemning a black man for saying Black Lives Matter in TNT, is NJAC collecting government subventions to stay quiet? The pattern says yes. Remember, Patrick Manning tried to create targeted programs for at-risk black youth. The UNC called it racist. They killed those programs before they could save one child. Professor Selwyn Cudjoe documented it. The UNC built detention centers specifically to house black youth. Their own attorney general said, lock them up first, find a charge after. UNC came back to power in 2025. First thing they did, fire forestry workers, CPEP workers, single mothers, Afro-Trinidadians. Kareem Marcelle said what everyone in Laventille, Beetham, Sealots already knows. If you are not actively helping black people, you are against them. Full stop. NJAC, where is your voice when it counts? Silence is complicity.
So in today's video, I want to discuss the impact of what Laventille West MP Marcelle said, the remarks. Anyway, it's not all about focusing on his speech, but for me, in this particular commentary, I am going to focus on rejecting division. I am going to condemn inflammatory languages and promote peace, love, unity, and liberty in Trinidad and Tobago. So Trinidadians have come out, they have spoken out, and they're telling the world and their leaders, especially Member of Parliament Marcelle, that politics should never divide our nation. So Trinidad and Tobago is a beautiful, beautiful twin island that has been built on or has grown on many cultures, many backgrounds, many voices. And I can tell you that today, many Trinidadians are asking, like, why is it that political arguments are taking us too far? So, like a couple of days ago, less than even 48 hours ago, there were comments made by Laventille West MP Kareem Marcelle. And these remarks, they have sparked very strong emotions and reactions across the island. So the conversation, of course, it has already moved like beyond politics. And of course, it has touched something deeper. Actually, it has touched the unity of Trinidadians. And I can tell you, Trinidadians really do love their country because they have come out
in large numbers condemning the remarks, and for them it doesn't matter the race or anything. So honestly, when it comes to this particular point, we have to make a very, very honest discussion, because you see, at the end of the day, disagreement is very normal, debate is very normal, criticism is very normal, but dividing the good citizens by race, community, and political loyalty is very, very dangerous. So there is something called the power of words. People take it so simple, but I can tell you that words matter a lot, especially when they come from leaders. And, when our politicians say something, their voices carry a very, very strong weight, because people will listen, people will react, people will follow whatever they say. And this is why at every point in time in life, it doesn't matter where you come from. Leaders must always choose their words carefully. Trinidad and Tobago has gone through many, many challenges. They have gone through, they're experiencing economic challenges, they are experiencing crime concerns, social problems. But I can tell you that one thing that has always been their strength is that ability to live together. There are differences, but to them, differences should never become a weapon, which is beautiful. Trinidadian communities should never become enemies at any point in time just because of leaders, Because if they become enemies, they are the ones to suffer. Their leaders are not going to suffer, because for them they can afford a flight ticket to whichever part of the world that they want, as long as their visa allows or passport allows. So Trinidadians are very, very tired of these particular divisions. They are frustrated, they are tired, they want solutions, they want safer communities, they want opportunities, they want respect, they want a better future for their children, and they don't want endless political battles because it's not benefiting them at all. They don't want constant accusations. They do not want a country whereby neighbors look at each other with suspicion. No, we don't want that, because at the end of the day, a Trinidadian is a Trinidadian, no matter where you live, no matter who you vote for, no matter your background. Oh my God, I wish people understood this. So, political parties, they do come and go. Political parties change. Political parties, they diminish with the time. Governments change. Leaders change. But the people remain. The good citizens remain. The children remain. The future remains. A political victory should never mean that one group of people loses their dignity. No, it should never ever mean that way. A political disagreement should never destroy friendships, should never destroy families, should never destroy communities. Guys, I hope you are really, really listening well. We are preaching peace, love, unity, liberty. So, when leaders start labeling people, that becomes very dangerous and it creates walls. When leaders come and say that one group is against another group, they create fear, and fear creates anger. Trinidad and Tobago cannot move forward like that. We need leadership that brings people together. We don't need leadership that makes citizens feel like they must choose sides against each other. No, that's a big, big no. We don't support that. We need to hold our leaders accountable. And when I talk about accountability, it doesn't mean that leaders should not be questioned. They should be questioned. Even whatever this particular MP has done, the remarks, he should be called to the parliament by the security committee and be questioned about his remarks because they are very dangerous. So leaders should be questioned. Every government should be questioned. Every opposition should be questioned. Every public official should answer to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we call that democracy. You see, accountability must always be based on actions, policies, results, and not attacks on identity, right? The good people of Trinidad and Tobago are smarter. They are very smart. They don't want this division thing. The good people of Trinidad and Tobago, they know their struggles. They know what matters. They know that a portal does not ask who you voted for. Very brilliant. They know. The good citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, they know that a hospital does not ask your political party. And a crime victim does not ask your background. Problems that are facing the people of Trinidad and Tobago affect everybody, everyone. So, and therefore, our solutions must include everybody. I have a message to every Trini, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, every community, every citizens. Kindly remember that your neighbor is not your enemy. The person who votes differently is not your enemy. A different opinion is not hatred. We can disagree and still respect each other. That is what democracy should look like. My good people, our children are watching. They are the future. They are the next generation and they are watching. They are learning from what they are seeing. If you sit down and ask yourself one simple question, are we teaching our children anger, or are we teaching them respect? Are we teaching them division, or are we teaching them unity? Trinidad and Tobago will actually remain to be there forever and ever. And the Trinidad and Tobago that we leave behind depends on what we build today and on what we train our children to actually build it, or on how to build it. I'm calling for love, peace, and unity in Trinidad and Tobago because this country belongs to all of us. The hills, the towns, the villages, the communities, the people, nobody owns Trinidad and Tobago. We all share it. We all have a responsibility to protect it. And we have to end this particular remarks. We have to discourage this particular remarks made by this member of parliament, Marcelle. Of course, political debates will continue, arguments will continue, elections will come, elections will go, but our humanity must remain. We need to reject such kind of hate. We need to reject such kind of division, and we need to reject just anything that tries to turn citizens against each other, because the strength of Trinidad and Tobago has always been its people, the different cultures, the different stories, one nation, one future, peace, unity, liberty for all of us. Guys, thank you so much. If you watched this particular video up to this point, I truly appreciate your presence. Kindly comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, especially about the remarks of this particular member of parliament. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for the love and support.